I'd like to talk with you about the Interstate Compact for the Placement of Children. There is a law that is generally referred to as the ICPC, and this is a set of regulations that governs the movement of a child from one state to the other for the purposes of adoption. And there's an administrator in each state in the country who reviews the packet of materials called the ICPC packet. And in this packet, there is your home study, there is the counseling summary of the biological parents, there are the medical records and information related to the child and the child's health history, as well as the legal documents related to the termination of the biological parents' rights and the placement with the prospective adoptive family. This big packet is reviewed by the administrator in what is called the sending state. That is the state where the baby is born, where the biological parents live. And then that packet is reviewed and sent on to the receiving state's ICPC administrator. And the ICPC administrator in the receiving state will say, oh, there's something missing. They'll call up the agency. We'll call up the counterparts in the sending state, say, you need to put this or that in the packet. They'll fax it over. And then we get what is called the ICPC approval. This means that the family can now leave the state where the baby was born, where they were placed with, and come back home. It is very important to understand that you cannot move across state lines until you have ICPC approval. If you do move across state lines without that approval, the compact can be denied, and essentially the adoption would not be able to take place. So it's very, very important to honor the requirements of the ICPC. If you're a couple and one of you needs to go home to resume work, then you can do so. But in most cases, families decide that they want to stay in the state together with the baby and get to know the baby. I had a case once where the family who were adopting were very erudite and distinguished, and we placed them in very good timing. And then I called up the attorney's office to begin a conversation about putting together the ICPC packet. But when I called, there was no answer. And then I called the next day, and there was no answer. Finally, on the third day, the secretary answered, and I said, I've been trying to reach your office because we need to put together the ICPC packet. Can I speak with attorney so-and-so? And the secretary said, well, I'm sorry, he isn't here right now. He's on a fishing trip. And I said, I see. But the family has a child. They're waiting in a hotel room for this process. Do we know when he'll be back? Well, when he's done with the fishing trip, he'll be back. We have any idea when that is. No, we don't. So and this was a very senior member of the adoption legal community, so ordinarily a very responsible person. And I called up the prospective adoptive family and I said, well, we have a little bit of a situation. The attorney handling the case is going on a fishing trip, and apparently we don't have any idea when he'll be back, but I assume in some kind of good timing. The adoptive family said, should we call the governor? And I said, no, please don't call the governor. This is not going to help anything. Apparently they felt they could. So I tell this story with a little bit of amusement to basically say that even when you're adopting from one state to the next, it can feel like you're going to another country. There's a different set of expectations, sometimes a different set of timing, a different set of protocols, and it's very, very important to be patient. Remember, we talked about patience in the process of waiting for a potential adoption situation to come your way. And likewise, even when the baby is safely in your arms, there can be some cause for patience, and it's fine to talk with the agency about the various frustrations in the process. We're used to it, but at the same time, it's also important for us that you know that there can be little moments where we all have to be patient and wait for the fishing trip to just be over. Okay, thank you for hearing about the ICPC and the process of interstate adoption.